Speaking podcast with Helly Shaw. She is the co-founder and CTO of Approval AI, a Y Combinator-backed startup that's revolutionizing the mortgage industry with AI native automation. Helly's background spans from Google, Goldman Sachs, and now building one of the most promising fintechs out of the YC. Helly, thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Excited to get to know you and hear your story.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share my story as well.
Well, you want to start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So as Bryan mentioned, I'm the co-founder and CTO of Approval AI, an AI-powered mortgage platform. I came to the US about 10 years ago, so I'm an immigrant. I went to school at the University of Washington, studied computer science, did the normal things, got a tech internship, started as a quant at Goldman Sachs, and then became a software engineer at Google. And after about 5 years of being in the corporate world, got tired of it, decided that I wanted to start something of my own, met my co-founder, Arjun, and that's the beginning of Approval AI. And Approval AI is an AI-powered mortgage platform. We essentially automate all the complex parts of getting a mortgage for consumers, like rate shopping, negotiation, document processing. We are automating what loan officers and mortgage brokers have been doing for decades, but what we are doing differently is we are handing those tools directly to the buyer versus, going B2B and handing those tools to the mortgage professionals.
Got it. Right on. So where did this idea come from? What was that aha moment?
As I mentioned, it started because both Arjun and I wanted to leave Google. So we started ideating, we started thinking about, what we could do. And Approval AI started from a personal pain point. Arjun bought a condo in San Francisco in 22. I bought a condo in New York in 23. And the experience of getting a mortgage was infuriating. It was slow and it was so painful. And it's very interesting how mortgages are stuck in the 2010s because fintech has given us two-click investing, instant payments, same-day loans. But mortgages, it just felt like PDFs and a prayer. So we thought that there was something here. But we came from a pure tech background. We didn't know anything about mortgages. We didn't know anything about real estate. So what we did was we became licensed professionals.
What do you mean by
that? So Arjun got his real estate agent license in New York. And I became a licensed mortgage broker. So for 3 months, we are just deep into this space, figuring out how it works. Is there any catch? Why hasn't any consumer innovation been done in the space? There are so many digital mortgage lenders and stuff like that, but the whole process is still very fractured and broken. And we did not find any catch. So we applied to YC with just an idea, got in, and 3 months later, we are a real company with real customers, and we're just building.
Very cool. That's fascinating. So you applied for these licenses purely from a research perspective to validate?
Yes, because we wanted to become the professionals first before starting a company.
Yeah.
Which is why we did that.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That's fantastic, and I love the commitment and the depth that takes, right? So that's really cool. And what were some of the biggest, or what have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced thus far with coming up with the idea, building the platform?
Absolutely. So coming up with the idea was the hardest part, right? I think like a lot of startup founders, we had a hypothesis, but we wanted to validate parts of it. Approval AI started as our first idea was basically some kind of a real estate platform for home buyers.
Okay.
And it took us 3 months to like understand that the real pain point that many home buyers had was mortgages. So we interviewed about 60 plus home buyers. We interviewed like a lot of real estate professionals and mortgage brokers and loan officers. And then we kind of figured out like what parts of the home buying process were a pain point. So that validated our hypothesis. Like, yes, like us, a lot of other people suffered with their mortgages. And then when it came to mortgages itself, like what parts of the process are home buyers most frustrated by? And the first one was how shopping for rates is incredibly difficult. You kind of have to like apply on different platforms. You have to like compare the closing costs. Like interest rate is different from an APR. A lot of mortgage brokers and lenders and stuff like that, they kind of like, they're not very transparent. And then the second pain point when it came to mortgages was the document processing part. Like it takes weeks to create a person's entire mortgage packet before the loan gets approved. So all of that was the hardest part. And to be more specific, the hardest part was like asking the right questions to people who would eventually become our users. And one thing that we did right before we started Approval AI was before writing a single line of code, we validated our idea, we went deep into it, and I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to building the platform itself, I don't think it has been that hard. We are still a 2-person company, but we have built the entire platform, the entire agentic model, just the two of us. Partly because there was so much innovation lacking. So there were a lot of low-hanging fruits that we could automate.
What are some of those things that you've automated thus far?
So we have automated rate shopping. Our platform, once it has your entire financial picture, like your assets, your liabilities, your income and stuff like that, it reaches out to all the lenders that you're eligible for and curates the deal for you. And then after that, it further negotiates. Like it basically like makes lenders compete for the borrower's business.
Yeah.
Like if lender 1 is offering something, it will go to lender 2 and be like, can you match or beat this? It will like haggle based on your credit score, based on your reserves and stuff like that. So all of that has been automated. And we've also automated document processing. So one thing that our users love is how we help them create their entire application packet before they even go to underwriting. We have seen our users' approval timelines like reduced by a week to 10 days because by the time they pick the lender, their entire packet is ready and all the loan officer has to do is give the file direct to underwriting. There are not further requirements that the underwriter asks for or documents that the underwriter asks for, and they get approved much quicker than a lot of other people.
Yeah. What's the standard amount of time? And then you said you've dropped it a week to 10 days to that. So what is that actual timeline?
It depends on, what
All
city
factors.
or what
Sure.
market, a lot of factors. But we have served a lot of people in California and New York, basically like the coastal areas. And the typical timelines are 3 to 4 weeks. And we have seen our users get approved in like 2 to 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. How many people are on your platform so far?
So we have about 250 active users right now, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
And how long ago did you launch?
About 3 months ago.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Very, very exciting. And how are you acquiring your active users? What is your strategy around getting people exposure to your platform?
We are mostly doing content marketing. We were trying to figure out like what's the right way to reach people. And one of the holes that we saw in the space was just lack of good content. So we have been like publishing blogs about, what's a pre-qualification versus a pre-approval. Like you should actually get an underwritten pre-approval if you're in a competitive market.
Mhm.
What are the best negotiation strategies? What are some of the mortgage hacks and stuff like that? Lenders, this is not something that we've seen out on the internet. So like we are just like, putting content that people love, and we
Yeah.
have seen so many hot leads come in because people have just appreciated the things that we talk about.
Yeah. Now, are you actively working with your users, or is the platform take care of everything? So do you have any direct interaction, with success stories where you're excited about and you can share?
Yeah. So we have decided that we want to talk to our first 1,000 users.
Love it.
So before users use our platform, I get on a quick 15-minute call with them, kind of, introduce Approval AI, introduce what our vision is. And I also want to hear more about them because, they fill out a form, they submit their documents, but some people always have some story,
Yeah.
something that they're scared of, something that they're concerned about. And the thing about home buyers is that they're making the biggest purchase of their lives and they're
Yeah.
already so overwhelmed. So we want to add that human touch in the beginning and in the end. Like the platform is doing everything, but we are going to talk to you before and we are going to talk to you once you pick your lender.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important in a day of automation and AI. There is this pushback I'm seeing from a lot of people. And I think the customer success piece of it is just so important to make that person feel like it's not just being outsourced to AI and, taken over. It's they want the human element. So, um,
I think they do, but at the same time, the way I've seen our users interact with our AI agent has been like delightful. Our AI agent has its own persona. Make sure that like whatever it conveys to users is understandable and it's not like filled with jargon. It's responsive. So like if we have been giving our users like the best deals, we have been helping our users like curate their entire application packet. So I think they've just appreciated that there is like this hands-on agent that like always helps them and make sure that like one of the most time-consuming and nerve-wracking parts of home buying has been automated. When it comes to like home buyers, they already have like a human touch, which is their real estate agent.
yeah.
And what they want to see is the rest of it being automated. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So what additional automations are you looking at from your roadmap?
So these are mostly like internal tools. There are a lot of internal workflows that we want to automate. We have this philosophy in the company. It's just, I said the company, it's just two of us. It's like, why delegate when we can automate?
Yeah.
So every time we get overwhelmed, and it's usually like a task that can be easily automated. So like we have a list of things internally that we want to automate to just like improve our own workflows because the product now works end to end with users and with lenders. But there are a lot of things that like we ourselves do manually, like, monitor interactions or just like, CRM and stuff like that. So we want to automate all of that.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's jump over to your experience going through Y Combinator. Would love to hear about that, the application process, getting in, the feelings, the joy you had. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I think going through Y Combinator was probably the most productive time of my entire life. The best part about the program is how you have so many launch deadlines that are along the way, which like push you to like iterate on the product, push you to like get more users, and the mentorship and the cohort is like, I was just really happy, making friends and like learning more about like other founder experiences. Y Combinator has like amazing partners. From whom we got like a lot of mentorship as well. When it came to the application, one thing that really helped was having YC alumni go through our application and advise us on like what we could do better. And I think that was basically what added the magic sauce. So my co-founder has a lot of friends who went through YC, so we just got their advice.
Very cool. What's one piece of advice that helped shape Approval AI?
One piece of advice that helped shape Approval AI.
Or standout advice that just, was maybe something you weren't looking at or seeing?
I think one thing that stood out for us was basically how well polished our product is. And this is really important for any consumer application. I know a lot of startup advice out there is like, just build something, make it work, and iterate on it. But for us, as a fintech app, which is consumer facing, which is going to help people, facilitate the biggest transaction of their lives, we made sure from day one that this was the most beautiful experience for you. We made sure that every pixel looked amazing. And I think that was not an advice that we got. That's just something that we embodied from day one. It's just something that both my co-founder and I align on. So I think one advice that I have for like consumer apps is, just focus on beautiful experiences.
I'm really curious about how your previous experience at Goldman Sachs, at Google, helped shape your who you are today, and how that helped you in building Approval AI. And same thing, similar for Arjun. How did it help shape the two of you?
I think for both of us, our experience at Google just it trained us enough to kind of focus on the consumer experience. I worked on Google Maps. He worked on YouTube at Google Hotels. So we both like we came to YC with like a consumer eye, and we knew that like we couldn't like do something that was B2B SaaS, that our strength lies in building something for consumers, because that's what we did at Google. Every decision that we made was consumer driven. And I think that, and for me, it was from like a software engineering perspective. For Arjun, it was from like a product perspective, because he was a PM at Google. So I think that really shaped us and made us like a really strong team. When it came to my experience at Goldman Sachs, I think it was really formative, doing that right out of college. And in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic, I was going to the office in September 2020, by the way. So I think what made it unique for like a new grad like me is like when all the other companies were remote, Goldman Sachs was like allowing me and like a select number of employees to like work from the office. It made the organization for me really flat for me. So like I was talking to my managing director, I was talking to my partner. It just made me into someone with opinions, and someone who wanted her opinions to be heard, and someone whose opinions were heard. So it just really shaped me as just a leader. I was not leading anything, but I saw what I wanted to become at Goldman Sachs, which is why I got tired pretty soon when I moved to Google.
Yeah. Did you always know you wanted to start your own thing? Was there a moment at Google where something sparked this desire to build your own company?
I always knew that I wanted to start something of my own, because I come from like a family, like everybody is a business owner. My whole family is like real estate developers. So that's the kind of environment that I grew up in. But obviously, like moving to the US, like going through the whole college experience, corporate experience, that's also something that I wanted to do. But what flipped the switch for me at Google was basically meeting Arjun. And he was the one who was like, okay, like I think that we'll be like a great team and we should do something together. And there was no question in my head. Like I just saw that as an opportunity to, okay, I have, it seems like I have the right person. And together we just like were on a 6-month journey to like get into YC.
Yeah. Now, did you leave Google and then go on that journey, or were you still at Google when you started that journey, or
Uh,
did you cut the cord?
Both.
Yeah.
So there was like we started talking about doing something together while we were still at Google, but we had no idea what we were doing. So
Yeah.
once we had some direction that okay, maybe like this is the space that we want to be in, this is the space that we want to build in, that's when we left.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Um, being an immigrant and being a woman, how has that shaped your journey to where you are today?
Um, I think one of the best decisions that I made in my life was moving to the US. It has given me like so many opportunities, and I think my experience in the US as an immigrant felt pretty much like anyone else's, immigrant or not, which
Okay.
is what's beautiful about this country. I think I just kind of came in and I felt like I fit right in. And everybody's experience is different, but that's the experience I had. I moved to this country the day I turned 18. So I have lived here my entire adult life,
hmm
which I think played a role in it. Now, when it comes to being a woman in tech and being a woman founder, that it's mostly been an okay experience, but obviously it comes with its challenges. And like every time you kind of walk into a room, you have to like prove that you belong there. And I tend to like, flip the script on like whoever is in the room with me. It's like if I have to prove that I belong here, so do you. And that kind of like brings us both on a level ground, and somehow we end up having mutual respect for each other. So it's not like being an immigrant has not had any challenges, but being a woman comes with its own challenges and its own. And I have like over time like built strategies that just help me navigate that.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for other women that are young professionals, whether they're in tech or not in tech, about starting, whether you're 18 and going to college and starting your college journey, or maybe graduating out of it and starting into the professional world?
Just push back, be loud, and if you feel like you have to prove yourself, then make the other person feel the same. This is not advice that I've seen like around a lot, but this is something that I've always followed.
Yeah.
And I've always like trusted my instinct as well on a lot of things. So just and it has helped the company too, honestly. Like there have been like a lot of times when my instinct says something, I logically arrive at that conclusion at the same day a few hours later, and my co-founder arrives at that conclusion a week later. So always trust your instincts and like try your best to articulate it, and like don't stop until like someone listens to you. And at the same time, like it's going to be difficult at times. It's not level playing ground, unfortunately, and just make sure that whenever you walk into a room, make the other person feel challenged as well. Like
Love
they
it.
should also have something to prove to you.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Maybe a few more. So with the influx of AI and how it's impacting all different sectors and industries, what are the biggest things you see in the financial industry as it pertains to, financial services for mortgages?
I think security and privacy is going to be like a big one.
Okay.
As we ourselves at Approval AI like rapidly innovate to automate using AI, we have to be really mindful of like not exposing anybody's private information, personally identifiable information, to the AI. So like our AI models kind of operate in a redacted space, so to say. So like everything before it's fed to the AI and the AI starts working with it, we make sure that it's stripped of any private information and stuff like that. And we run like security audits pretty regularly. So I think those two are the two big ones. Like I think this is not just fintech. This is any company that's like rapidly innovating and like is using AI to even code their, build their platforms. That you have to be like mindful of making sure, you have to make sure that like you're protecting user security and their privacy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What about what's next? So it's a team of two. Do you have a vision to expand and grow your team, and what does that look like?
So I don't think that we need to expand for the near future because, like I mentioned, like our first, the first thing that we do is automate and not delegate, and so we have been like trying really, really hard to like automate a lot of internal workflows, for which we would have hired someone had there been not like if we didn't have like access to like AI-based coding that like lets us rapidly build things.
Right.
So we have been using that extensively to automate a lot of internal workflows. Although one thing that we think that AI is not good at and we do not want to use AI for is designing like good user experiences.
Sure.
Because we want to differentiate ourselves and kind of make sure that we are building like good consumer experiences, and that still needs human touch.
Yeah.
AI is not good at that, and we're not going to be using AI for that. So we will soon be hiring a designer to help us, build those experiences.
Very cool. That's exciting. That makes a lot of sense. And so far, you've been handling that. Arjun's been handling that. The two of you. You said it's so beautiful and pixel perfect, right? So is that just something natural, or did you have a background or training in that?
No, it's just something that we both have been very stringent about.
Cool.
But it obviously takes like a lot of time, and it's a lot of trial and error. Like we have to like go through the flow like multiple times to be like, I don't think this is working, and why do users have to do this and not that? And like any good UX designer would like know that right away.
Yeah.
So that's that kind of like we spend a lot of time on that and we don't think that we should be.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one prediction you have in the next 5 years about how home buying will change?
So I think home buying, when it comes to just home discoveries, like for some reason moving in like a less transparent space. But when it comes to like financing a home, we like imagine a future that's like very transparent, highly automated, and 2 clicks away, like same day loans.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you think that home buying will become less transparent, but the ability to buy a home will become extremely accessible and easy?
Exactly.
Why do you think home buying will become less transparent? What leads you to think that?
I don't know if I'm like the most qualified professional for this, but it just seems like there's like a lot of regulation in the space. There are like a lot of big players when it comes to like home discovery, and there are like a lot of changes happening there, and I just feel like a lot of those changes are like moving us into a world where home discovery itself is becoming harder and harder. Like that's the trend that I've been seeing when it comes to people looking to like buy a home or like people looking to like rent a home. It's becoming harder and harder to like find the right place because the whole home discovery process is like becoming fractured. Like we had all these big players like Zillow or like Street Easy come in, and made it like really streamlined, and now we seem to be moving in the opposite direction.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Cool. Maybe something more light and fun. Any technology tools that you're using today that you want to share with listeners that may find value in them?
Absolutely. So my favorite AI tool is Midjourney. Um, like I said, my co-founder and I, we're not very good with designing or illustrations and stuff like that. So we extensively like use Midjourney to kind of like create artifacts for our blog posts or our content. And I have just been loving playing around with it.
So what does it do for you?
It just makes our entire we throw like a lot of text. Our blog posts are like really detailed. So it kind of just makes the entire experience more illustrated, right? Like it's prettier with pictures. But I am just like very impressed with the tool in general.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, where can listeners find you? How can they become a part of your mission and join the club?
Listeners can like connect with me obviously on LinkedIn. I'm there. Approval AI is on LinkedIn. And if you're looking to buy a home or even refinance, get a HELOC, you can sign up at getapproval.ai.
Awesome. Cool. Helly, it's been a pleasure. Really, really fun getting to know you. And thanks so much for coming on the show.
Likewise, Bryan. Thank you so much.